2025. It is the Craig Meister coming from the expounds of Meister's realm. I hope you had a good holiday season, a good last fall, and a good start to this new wonderful year. I hope it is full of wonderful blessings for all of you. I'd like to recap my the fall events in and around Northeast Oklahoma, and give an upcoming look at what is coming this spring. So I started off my first fall fun day at the Hobbit Festival at the Tulsa Main Library. Pardon me, they played the first Hobbit movie on an outdoor screen in a courtyard, and they had several indoor activities, including hot potato bar down in the basement and a Hobbit trivia contest. My good friend Craig Wallander, God rest his soul, came in second place. I did not do nearly as well as he did. So I'm hoping that the main library, Central Library in Tulsa, makes this an annual event. They talked about doing it every other year, but so far they've done it the last 2 years in a row. And hopefully Zero Library in West Tulsa will pick these events back up. It's a wonderful thing to do indoors, mostly in September when it's still kind of warm. A couple of weeks later, I happily returned to the Narnia Fair in Fayetteville, Arkansas. There were a few more things to do than last year. Plus, they had a great band called the Bailey Family Ministry. These singers and dancers added a lot of gravitas to the event. They're good, deep baritone voices, and you could really feel the energy that they project with the singing voices. They played some standards from Renaissance fairs. Pardon me. And they also sang the song that Pippin sang during the Return of the King movie during Faramir's charge. If you want a quality singing group for your festival, contact the Bailey Family Ministry on the Book of Faces. They're located near McAlester, Oklahoma, but I am sure they're ready to travel far and wide. At the Narnia Fair, there was also a dance troupe that came all the way from St. Louis, Missouri. Down there, it is like, what did I see, a 6-8 hour drive. They came quite a ways and did a good job performing. And then on the first Saturday of October, I journeyed to Foster Park in Stroud, Oklahoma for a David Timmons LARPing event. I had never experienced one up close. And it was fun. I participated in some of the warm-up events, but I did not do any of the combat. I'm used to long-range engagements myself, if you know what I mean. Many of the LARPers in the group were out of town that weekend, but the ones that were there were quite enthusiastic. So if you're looking for a LARP group, you can contact David Timmons on the Book of Faces. They have events, I believe he said, every month. Not always at that park, especially this time of year, but they do things together frequently and get into another world. Well, the Oklahoma Highland Gathering in Choctaw did not disappoint, although I did miss seeing the Renfests Angel and her husband, Ranger of the Wren, for they have moved to England for a few years. They are both still posting on the Book of Faces, so you can keep up with them and find out what their travels are recently. As they are in England recently, I saw they celebrated their anniversary at a very famous place with lots of large rocks in England. You can look up the Renfests Angel and see where they were and see some of their photos. I've asked her to let me know what festivals they have around England, so mayhaps I can add them to my website. Also at the Highland Gathering, they had the Regalia International Birds of Prey. They are the best. I do enjoy their shows. Lots of good information is provided and some demonstrations with the birds sometimes. I always enjoy seeing their shows. Do pardon me, please. Plus, many Celtic bands jammed together under the largest picnic shelter I've ever been under. The music was great. Things were being flung in the air at the Highland Gathering. Quality vendors were on site, and food was aplenty. I concluded my 2024 Renfests season at the Oklahoma City Ren and Scott Fest. It was in pretty much the same footprint as they had in 2023, but this year there was an amazing busking group there. They were up on the hill underneath some of the trees, kind of close to the entrance, to the left when you walk into the entrance. They were so new to that endeavor, they did not even have a name for their group. However, the majority of their songs were Renfest standards. I listened to them for about 3 hours, and there were only about 2 songs that I did not recognize. They were very talented, and they breathed a lot of spirit into that event. Plus, there was also archery there this year. Huzzah! So last year in one of my videos, I believe it was during the summer, one of my lives, I mentioned that I was looking for some new, good Celtic music. I ran across a very talented young violin player named Emlyn Drake. EMLYNDRAKE on YouTube. I've asked that she does not yet have any CDs for sale, but you can find her on YouTube. And their channel is Drake Sisters. But you can also travel south. You could go to see the Sherwood Forest Fair near just east of Austin, which starts on March 1st. Or you can go to the Texas Renaissance Festival next fall and see her perform live. Very good. On to 2025. Good people, it is only 8 weeks. 8 weeks until Renfair season starts in Oklahoma. Huzzah! I cannot wait. The Tulsa Irish Festival will run from March 7th through 9th this year, and they have cut their ticket prices in half from last year. It will only cost $15 to get in the gate this year. Huzzah! Per day. It is quite affordable, and they have moved from the River West Festival area, which is where Tulsa has held Oktoberfest for decades. They're now east of there, about not quite a mile, on 21st Street, just east of the Arkansas River, in what is now called Dreamkeepers Park. Used to be Boulder Park, used to be Veterans Park. It is at 21st in Peoria. It is quite easy to find. I plan to attend if it is not as cold or rainy as it was last year. A week later, we'll see the return of the Queens Ferry Renaissance Festival to Veneta, Oklahoma. There are different stories on whether the big theme park will be built on the east side of Veneta, closer to Disney, Oklahoma. It is unknown. There are different press releases, and people live in the area say it'll never be built. Press releases say we will be open in 2026 or 20 and 29. We will see. As for now, Queens Ferry is still in the same spot on the west side of town, at behind the RV park. The Guthrie Renaissance Festival returns to Cottonwood Flats on March 21st through 23rd in the middle of Oklahoma, former state capital many, many moons ago. In addition to Bridget, Oklahoma's largest firing trebuchet, which I got to fire last spring, huzzah! And their new pirate ship in 2025. They will have a new Viking ship, something to go and see. I've seen updates on the Book of Faces, and it is coming right along. So go to Guthrie. Enjoy yourself for the weekend. John Paganis has many good things figured out, and it's a rapidly expanding Renaissance festival. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger every year. And one can round out the month of March on the 29th and 30th in Blackwell, Oklahoma. If you go to I-35, exit 222, then go east 3 miles, and go south 1.5 miles on Main Street, you will go to Memorial Park. This year, the Gym of the Chicaskia Renfests will be a full weekend. And Nikki Bonds is already making plans for the festival this year. She's been planning it for at least a month. She did a bang-up job. It was a very successful event last year with just little time to plan. She really made it come through well. I was very proud of her. And I'm sure she has good plans again this year. And it will stay in the same place. There will be a bit of shade. Yeah, I do not know if you need much shade on March 29th or 30th. Maybe keep from getting a sunburn. Mayhaps. So, there are a lot of trees there. Nice setting. The Norman Medieval Fair follows the next weekend, April 4th through 6th, in the year of our Lord, 2025. I do so look forward to seeing Bob the Incredible Juggler, Esendale, and Dave, Pastor Dave at the Feather in Your Cap booth, where I get my feathers for my cap each year, and many other family that I enjoy seeing at Norman. It's a good way to mark about the middle of the spring. It's getting warm most of the time, by the time you get there. And then Tulsa's Celtic Rising will return on April 12th at VFW Post 577. It is partially indoors, partially outdoors. They have good ground fighters and many different vendors that you can experience. Sometimes they're inside, sometimes they're out, or a mix. But when I go to that VFW, I always eat some food from their cafeteria inside. They have wonderful breakfasts and lunches. I can highly recommend going in there and eating. It is great, great food. Much better than the chow the veterans probably got when they were in the armed forces. Excuse me. So imagine that the Oklahoma Renaissance Festival will once again run from the end of April, the last weekend of April, to the first weekend of June. They have not posted the dates yet. Typical. They usually wait until later to post their dates. Between seeing Bob, the Incredible Juggler, the Escapologist, there to the left when you come in the entrance, and seeking out Esendale and Volgamut. Is everyone feeling Volgamut? It's the Escapologist and a large amount of family I see there. I do look forward to visiting the castle several times. I hope this year that that I can go, and all of us can go to the ticket booth after 3 p.m. and get half-price return tickets, as I could last spring. I've heard it happened in years past. That allowed me to go down there 2 more times than I would have been able to afford had the tickets been full price last year. So, I hope to see you at several of these festivals this spring. Oh, and another one will be the Silver Sage Renaissance Festival. It is moving from Garden City, Kansas to Joplin, Missouri this year. You can visit that event on Memorial Day weekend, May 24th through 26th. It is in a park off of Main Street, in that town as well. What is it, 2 miles north of I-44? You can look up the information on the Book of Faces or go to my website. Look up Silver Sage Renfest. Another event in Missouri this spring is the Bluffwoods Renaissance Festival in St. Joseph. It is about 1 hour north of Kansas City. And they have jousting, a large Viking area, and an SCA encampment, a magician, and dozens of vendors and other performers in a wonderful setting. I hope you can make it. The Rentopia Renaissance Festival was held last June in Bentonville, Arkansas. I heard some people that went to it, they enjoyed it, but it was hot. So in 2025, they are moving it to the end of October. The weather will be much nicer, and I will give another update on that when I come back and do another live event in the summer. I may have one or two more or more before then. But I'll give an update in late summer, perhaps August, probably August. So, both Esendil and Pastor Dave of the Feather in Your Cap booth keep telling me that the White Hot Renaissance Festival in Hartville, Missouri is growing again. If it did not start the second weekend of June, I could visit. I can only imagine how warm it would be. That time of year, it runs, I believe, 3 weekends. And I believe they're having a Viking festival in April this year. Perhaps I can make it to that just to see what the grounds are like and see how everything works out. If any of you viewing this have visited White Hot, please comment. Comment on the Book of Faces or YouTube later as I post this on my YouTube channel. And let me know what you think of the White Hart Renfest. So I do hope to see many of you wonderful people, whether I know you yet or not, inside the gates this year at different festivals. If you spot me garbed as an archer or in a Roman tunic, please say hi. I will be happy to chat and give you a copy of my flyer with nearby Renaissance festivals on it. I made a post the other day on the Book of Faces asking if people have goals. Do you have goals written down for your life? I've done things. I've invested for retirement, and I've set money aside, and I'm making house payments and doing the car payments thing. But I've not written down goals. What do I want to be in 5 years? When do I want to retire? What do I want to do in sports? What do I want to do for the good Lord above? Well, one of the things I wrote down was go to more states, visit more Renaissance festivals. So over the years, I will not just be covering the same things that come up in in Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Texas, perhaps Colorado from time to time. I want to travel. I want to go farther and see what Renaissance festivals are like down along the Gulf Coast, perhaps on the East Coast, up north during the summertime, the West Coast. I would like to see more Renaissance festivals. So someday, I shall not sing and break the cameras and the speakers. You will finally see pictures of me at different Renaissance festivals, maybe some lives or recordings, videos of what goes on at perhaps Bristol or Flarf or I do not know where. Southern Alabama, Mississippi, I don't know. But Tennessee sounds good. Someday I'll expand my horizons physically. So it's come to the time where I would like to thank my sponsors. And to begin that, have you visited the Bluffwoods Renaissance Festival? As I mentioned, it is 1 hour north of the Kansas City Metro. It has a beautiful setting with a ridge line behind it, behind the grounds. And Jonathan McLean presents a wonderful fest. This is at a wedding site, so it is already set up well and maintained. There are dozens of things to see, hear, and do, including visiting and playing table games with Stolto Mori. If you know, you know. If you hear that laughter from the king, you know who is there within the grounds. Again, this year, the festival will be on May 31st and June 1st. So I'd also like to thank my other sponsors, Twisted Thistle Trading Company, How Creative Creations, Rotten Dave's Wooden Mugs, Gypsy Mercantile, and the Renfests Angel. I hope all of you have much success this year. Gramercy to all of you who have tuned in, whether it is on January 11th, 2025, or it's November 24th, 2029. Gramercy for tuning in. I hope you come back often. When the weather outside is too cold, too hot, too wet to get out in, if you just get an urge, if you start jonesing for some Renaissance information, if things are going crazy in the world and you want to see something normal and look forward to fun events or reminisce about events you mentioned that I come across here and talk about, please come back. Farewell and Godspeed to your next event. Huzzah!